Welcome, everyone. I am Chris Gore, and I just beat the speed record for eating a bagel before going on camera. It's Friday. It's true. I did. That's why I'm a couple minutes late. I had to eat some breakfast. Hope you're doing well. I am pre-coffee. Yeah, still waking up, but I hope you are up and ready for our show today. Alan will be joining me shortly. Lots to discuss, including A Man Called Otto, starring Tom Hanks. I'm really curious to hear what Alan thinks of it because I watched it last night. Also, M3GAN is here. Is M3GAN better than Chucky? We will discuss. Plus, later on in the show, if he has the guts, if he dares, Eric Weber is going to enter the ring. He's going to enter the film review octagon at Film Threat, so to speak. Get ready for that. Lots, and plus all your chat questions and comments because you're a part of the show. Let's get things going. Happy Friday. I'm happy that you guys are all here to hang out and talk movies. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Hey,
Alan,
hey.
What are you doing, man?
I'm 6 days into dry January.
Oh, really? 6 days into dry January. I'm gonna have to take a mulligan on my dry January. I was out yesterday with a big group, our movie meetup group.
Yeah, I saw pictures. No, I didn't see pictures. Polly posted some old pictures.
Polly was there from Latino Slant, Mexican Iron Man. Mike was there. A lot of cool people. It was a lot of fun. Shout out to Mexican Iron Man. He picked up the tab for everyone.
Wow.
Couldn't believe it. It was like the biggest super chat ever, but in IRL, so to speak. That means in real life, Alan.
Yes, I know. It's just funny that that's come to that just meeting people is IRL.
Yeah, I feel like it's a better way to go than just because I see Eric Weber probably at least once a week.
Mm-hmm.
But I also will see him, so I see him in real life, usually at a screening, and then we're gonna battle here today. If he, I don't know. Let me check.
I know. Is he gonna show up?
What's that?
Is he gonna show up?
Is he gonna show up? Well, if not, we're just gonna.
Yeah.
If not, we'll just continue with the show.
I think he'd rather take on Grace Randolph than you.
Yeah, exactly. He has. What are you drinking? What are you drinking this early in the morning?
Just a Diet Coke.
Diet Coke for breakfast, dude. I'm still on OJ here.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee.
Oh my God! All right. Well, you and I could not be on a desert island together. Let's go to the chat questions and comments here from everyone before we talk about A Man Called Otto. Yeah. Wait, do we have the sorry? Do you have the banners for that? I believe we do. There we go. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's great.
By the way, desert islands, I don't think you'd find coffee on a desert island.
Yeah, you would be set with water.
Yeah.
But here we go. Patrick Lemire says Chris versus Eric will be spicy. I highly recommend Eric's channel. He is a hoot. I do not recommend Eric's channel, which is called Midnight Movie Talk with Eric Weber. I do not recommend it.
Although you seem to be trolling every single episode. So.
I know. I can't help myself because I know Eric, and then it's like he'll go live on MMT. And then I don't know. I can't help myself. I'll just go into the chat. I see you in the chat too, Alan.
Yes.
Mike MC Wong says Brie Larson is always ice cold. No way to get her to room temperature. Could be true. TGIF says Lord Thoth. Hail chat says David Glenn. David Glenn also goes on to say, I watched A Man Called Otto trailer. Feel like I saw the whole movie. Well, you did, except for a couple key things that Alan and I are going to talk about. I think I want to talk about that movie first because it pissed me off.
Did it?
It pissed me off. Yes. Yes.
Okay, we'll talk about it. I don't want to.
Let's save it. I want to see who's here.
I wasn't pissed off by a Man Called Otto.
Well, okay, we'll talk about it. The original A Man Called Ove is much superior. Oh, it's got to be one of those, like, it was like a Swedish film.
Yeah.
And they remade it as an American film.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what I don't know that it's Swedish, but yeah.
Now I'm woke. I mean awake. Well, good. Then you're ready, Mike Lusk. CD Stein 69 says, "Hail, Chris, Allen, and the FT chat. Who's ready to talk about Chucky Meets American Girl Doll? Saw it last night. Just a fun popcorn movie, which is something we need more of." It absolutely is that, and we'll get into it. Oh, also want to point out, CD Stein 69 is a member. If you go to the members tab on the Film Threat YouTube channel, you'll see that there's exclusive, like we post pictures and access also to our Discord where you can continue chatting. But also, I put up a plug for, we have 5 copies of a DVD to give away of it's a series of Marilyn Monroe documentaries, and only 2 people responded. If you're a member, go to the tab, follow the you basically just send an email. You'll see the instructions are there for members. You send an email to a certain email address. Just give me your physical address. And the first 5, there's 3 left. So do it right now. Shucksy, you need to do it. M says that doll is an instant new horror icon. Saw it yesterday and it was really creepy and super fun. Love it. Shucksy says, "Give me the Film Threat and give it to me raw."
Oh, yeah.
Solomon Thornton says, "The fight of the century." Mike MC Wong says, "Hey, Chris, thank you for the goodie bag. Celebrities Poop is awesome." That's right. Mike MC Wong we ran out of seats and I'm like, we'll just sit at the head of the table. And I promised him a goodie bag next time I saw him. And it was in my car and I brought it and was able to give it to him. Thank you, Mike. We're seeing Shin Ultraman next week.
I know. I got to get my
Shelby loves 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Film Threat Dome. Brock Samsonite, hello all. Just an FYI for anyone who cares. Nintendo Land preview reservations go live today at noon on Universal's website for annual pass holders. Oh. So if you have an annual pass for Universal Studios, you can reserve the preview of the Nintendo Land today at noon. That makes me want to become a member. John Manilang says, "Don't lie, Chris. That's a screwdriver you're having." No, it's just orange juice. It is. Oteo says, "I'm here at the playground for the battle. Gore, 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 gore." Well, you'll see. I don't know. It depends. You'll see who you're going to root for. Brock Samsonite, Tom Hanks movies just aren't landing lately. That is correct. They're just not. I don't know what it is.
He's getting old.
His best roles are behind him, I think. So
yeah, because he can't do action anymore.
And he goes on to say, Gore with the biggest arms and most charms. All right, Dead Harvey is here for a $4.99 super chat, but didn't say anything. If you meant to say something, it's happened to me where I've actually accidentally given a super chat, but forgot to type in the field. It happens to the best of us. But thank you for that, Dead Harvey. Appreciate it. Amanda Nowicki, I tried reading the book A Man Called Otto because so many bookworms were recommending it. I got 2 chapters in and stopped. There you go. And Toxic Waltz N8 says, "Any talk on The Pale Blue Eye now out on Netflix?" Alan?
Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it. You saw it and you reviewed it.
I saw it a couple months ago. Yeah.
Show.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just not my type of film.
Fair enough, Alan.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And MK Solid 82 says, "Chris, I saw the Goofy Renfield trailer with Nick Cage. Hollywood is really pulling at straws. There is no water left in the well."
Yeah, that was my M3GAN trailer, the Renfield trailer.
That was weird. The Renfield trailer. I saw it in the theater last night, and it got sort of a lukewarm reaction.
I got She-Hulk vibes from it.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Teague is here
especially
for
the support group meeting.
You're right.
It
The
just
support
felt
group
like
meeting was
the support group from She-Hulk.
yeah. Teague for $2 says, "Are you excited for Tekken 8 or Street Fighter 6?" I didn't know they were coming out until you now just super chatted that. I am now excited because I do have a PS5 and I could use a good new fighting game. So that's great. I will download those when they come out.
Yeah,
And then
I was gonna say my daughter and I on my private or my personal YouTube channel, we would play these fighting games against each other. And I would learn the game and she would button mash and then she would beat me.
breaking news, Alan has a separate personal YouTube channel where he plays video games.
Yeah. Lots of Marvel's
And then
Avengers right now.
And then Alan also, I happen to know, appeared a week ago today. You were on the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers
Yes.
live stream that I was
Meant to
supposed to
look
be on. And I was just busy.
Yeah.
I was just busy. I feel bad. Flaccid Phoenix, I owe you. I owe you.
Yeah,
one.
you owe him big time. You owe him big. But you can catch me. You can catch me on that stream during the last 2.5 hours of it.
I am going to definitely watch it. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get canceled from what
okay. I'm still trying to figure out this camera. Like it looks like I was out in the sun too long. I'm sunburned. I don't know.
Yeah, you're very. Yeah, it's like all the blood has rushed to your face.
Well, it's not true. I just think it's not an accurate representation of. Well, I think the saturation's a little high. How about turning it down? There we go. How about to like a?
Yeah, I mean, you're still pink.
I'm still pink.
I know that's not your natural color.
All right. Well, I'll just whatever. Well, you know what? We're gonna figure out this camera at some point. We're gonna figure it out. All right. And Clever Luther Talbert has been a member for 5 months and says, "A man named Otto. I knew a man named AI. He also called me Betty, though." Did I get the right? Yeah. That's how you would say that, right? I think that's how you would say it. There you go. And Davina Duckworth says the color balance is off. Tell me about it. Yeah. Well, you know what? Don't even watch. Just listen to the show. I hope I'm not too distracting with this. He's blushing from the screwdriver, says the film philosopher. It's possible. It's possible. Look, I'm just going to keep adjusting it for the next month until I finally get it right. But it's definitely not right. Is there a white balance? Preferences? You know what? I don't know how I don't know how this works. I don't know, but it's definitely the white balance is off. White balance temperature auto. Okay. That's not okay.
Yeah, that's not no.
Is that better?
Yeah, I'm wondering if no. Because we talked about your computer screen kind of throwing some unnecessary light on your face.
There's no way to do it. There's no way to do it right now. I've got a big yeah. Oh, I know.
Because we have 300 people in the chat and they don't want to see you screw
David
around.
Glenn says, find an 8-year-old to do your setup. That is a great idea. I need some very tech savvy, someone who isn't me. So there you go. And then English Batchers, who's a member, says, so I wondered what's your best trailer for the worst film and worst trailer for a great film?
Oh, gosh.
I'll say best trailer for a worst film. The Force Awakens. That was a great trailer. Terrible movie. And then a bad trailer for a great film. Alan.
Oh my gosh. This is a tough one because I don't think about trailers.
You don't?
I love trailers. I honestly try to go into a movie with the least amount of knowledge going in.
Okay.
And trailer, we talked about, what was that, The Invitation, and how the trailer absolutely ruined. Maybe that was it, The Invitation, just because it, most recently, just because it kind of spoiled the big surprise.
It did. There's like a big reveal, and
the movie was about that reveal, and it was all in the trailer.
Precisely. All right, let's get right to it. It's time to review A Man Called Otto. Alan, tell us the story of A Man Called Otto.
Yes. Well, it stars Tom Hanks. He is a grumpy old man who has kind of been forced to retire. He lives alone, hates his neighbors. He's so grumpy that he's part of the HOA of his community, and so you can kind of understand why he hates his neighbors so much, because they break the rules. So he's kind of forced into retirement at his longtime job. And he decides that when he gets home, he's going to kill himself. So he meticulously sets out, some plastic. No, he tries to hang himself. The plastic comes later. But just before he can kill himself, his new neighbor moves in across the way, Marisol and her family, and they basically, as the film plays out, this new neighbor Marisol becomes the nosy neighbor who helps give him a new perspective on life, and tries to, and without knowing that he's trying to kill himself, tries to soften the heart of this grumpy old man. And there's a comment, I've seen it all in the trailer, and yes, you have. This is a pretty, when I think about the Tom Hanks Playtone movies, this really falls in line with those type of stories. It's trying to be good. It's trying to bring back humanity, and I think we can debate as to whether it's done right or whether it's done a little too sappy. And I would say, this movie hits the sappy end of things.
Well, A Man Called Otto, and also, by the way, he had one little thing wrong, minor thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in the HOA. He was kicked out of it. Remember?
Oh, that's right. But
he was kicked out.
But he's the lone enforcer of HOA rules in his
right. Exactly. He enforces the rules that people just sort of go, whatever. They're good, nice guidelines. I'll say this. A Man Called Otto is a Hallmark movie being released to theaters.
Yes.
It's a movie that should have come to streaming, and it's being released in theaters and wide release, probably because of Tom Hanks. Although, I don't know, I guess Tom Hanks wasn't weighty enough to justify Pinocchio being released. The sort of live action digital Pinocchio.
Well, let's just say this movie was probably a tenth of the budget of Pinocchio.
Probably. But it's look, it's a Hallmark movie that will tug at the heartstrings when you find out the reason that he wants to end his life. All of that sort of plays out over the course of the movie. They don't reveal. It takes forever to reveal all of that. It does. It takes forever. And I'll say I'm in two minds about this movie. One, I'll just say this: your mom will like this movie. That's what I'll say. Your mom will love this movie, actually, because it's so heartfelt. And I'm in two minds about it. One, I love the character of Otto.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes I'm Otto. I can be a little.
I didn't want to say that, by the way.
Well, no, I'm saying it. I'm saying I like this guy. He wants everybody to follow the rules. Why don't people follow the rules? He gets annoyed when people don't know how to parallel park. Learn to parallel park. I know how to parallel park. Okay. Learn to parallel park. So all the things he's annoyed at, like someone not knowing how to do to bleed a radiator or things, simple things in life that everybody should kind of know, have basic knowledge of, right?
What's a radiator, by the way?
It's the radiator that's get at. Anyways, but it's so I like the actual character. I'm like, I see nothing wrong with this character. This is great. I love him. And yet the writing is so bad in this movie. And there's one scene in particular, I had to suppress a laugh, an inappropriate laugh. And I'll tell you exactly where it happens. So if you consider these, if you're not going to see this movie, or you consider minor things like this spoilers, someone was complaining in some of our comments that I I ruin stuff sometimes, but that happens. If you're gonna talk about a movie, you're gonna review it, and you're gonna go into some level of detail. There'll be certain things that are ruined. But
Yeah,
I'll tell you this.
I will say I think I always feel like the first act is open to discuss.
Yes.
And I don't think we've ever spoiled anything really without overtly saying it that wasn't that was outside of the first act of the movie.
Yeah, beyond Act 1, right? So we're talking about Act 1. There's a character in the movie that introduces themselves. It's a newspaper boy that is throwing out these newspapers, and Otto collects them and just throws them in the garbage because nobody looks at them. And so the newspaper boy says, "I'm trans, and your wife was the only person to use my name and be nice to me." It comes out of nowhere, and you're like, what? And there's nothing wrong with the character. The character's fine, serves a purpose in the story, but like to overtly state, and I would not even I'm like, all right, that's just a boy, whatever. It's a newspaper boy who's got multiple jobs and trying to get by, and Otto kind of like takes him under his wing, but like just out of nowhere says, "Well, I'm trans, and your wife called me my I mean, it's such a weird speech."
Like first I knew when that scene happened that it was like, oh, this is gonna tick off Chris.
Not
the thing is, it didn't necessarily come out of nowhere. The kid was delivering papers. He met Otto,
right?
Realized that it was his school teacher's wife,
right?
And basically, he didn't say I'm trans. He said she was the only one who called me by my name.
I just saw the movie last night, and I'm telling you, that's
he just said. I don't remember him just saying,
"Hey, I'm transgender," but it's like it's so poorly written. This is it's just poorly written, and then there's nothing wrong with the character. It was just that speech to introduce that character was terrible. It was just terribly done. And the movie does tick off all these boxes. This is the thing. So it's like the character's interesting, but the movie ticks off all these sort of virtue signal boxes. You've got your trans character, right? Then you've got like the immigrants, right? Because the new neighbors that move in are immigrants, right? Okay, so be nice to immigrants. Then it's like another thing. It's just going off on all these sort of ticking boxes of just like, I feel like it's someone going, here's all the agendas we want to push right now. Let's just put them in one movie. And it just, after a while, and then I don't want to spoil the ending. There's something that happens at the end that's like another virtue signal, like almost like a recommendation of you should do this in your life. And I just found it so schmaltzy. It was just annoying. I really, in the end, I walked out embarrassed that I saw the film.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It's very schmaltzy. It's absolutely schmaltzy. And yeah, they're checking out boxes. I mean, for one thing, this immigrant family, they're from Anaheim, which is out here.
Right.
I don't know anyone who lives in Anaheim and wants to move to Indiana in the middle of winter.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
I've never met a person from here who says, "Hey, we're moving to Indiana."
Yeah. Well, I've met a lot of people that said they're moving out of California. Yeah. That I definitely have heard. But I just felt that this movie was, every sort of turn was a virtue signal, and it just got annoying after a while. And then I think that doesn't make sense. There's a thing involving social media where Otto does something that goes viral. And you see this it's the dumbest thing. Oh my God. I laughed when this movie made me laugh inappropriately. It's not, there are parts of it that are comedic. I didn't laugh at the funny parts, but I laughed at the parts I probably shouldn't have laughed at. And the thing I laughed at was, I'm a social media news blogger. Journalist. I'm a social media news journalist. Okay. A social media journalist. And then it's so funny that I don't want to tell you exactly the details of the thread, but there's this whole thread with this social media journalist that is so dumb. It's like someone who's never used social media wrote all the scenes about social media. Like, it's like definitely sort of like a boomerification of a vision of what social media is, and it's stupid. It's so dumb. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, you just mentioned the part of the movie that just kind of sent me over the edge on it. It was like,
yeah,
oh my God. It's like, when someone walks up to me and says, I'm a social media journalist, I want to just kind of say, okay, grow up, child.
yeah.
But this movie embraces it. It's not, you kind of get a sense that he says grow up, child, but then he uses her in a very, respectful way, as if she was a lifelong journalist, a veteran journalist.
Yeah, it was. Oh my God, it was just this movie I found frustrating. I still like Tom Hanks, even though someone pointed out in the chat earlier that he's just not. His movies have just kind of been bombing lately.
Yeah,
right?
But this is, I mean, I think That Thing You Do, it kind of has that same kind of thing. It's
How
just
so? Sorry.
Well, it's this whole Hallmark Channel type story. That's what
Right.
You nailed it there. This is, if you like Hallmark movies, if you just want some positivity in your life, this is that movie. If you can not look at this movie with a critical eye, you're just gonna feel good at the end of it. And I think that's the point of the movie.
Well, so on the Film Threat Instagram, we post really weird movie posters because we get a lot of bizarre indie movies that are pitched to us, to cover. And, we cover a lot of them on the website, not as many on the YouTube channel. We kind of, the ones that we want to tell you about, we will cover smaller indie movies here on YouTube. The ones we think are worth discussing, but we cover a lot on filmthreat.com and also on our Instagram, the Film Threat. It's just Film Threat on Instagram. I post a lot of weird posters and just stuff that we're up to. And this sort of came across. It's Virtually Heroes.
Yeah.
And it stars Mark Hamill wearing a brown hoodie. It's about, and it's executive produced by Roger Corman.
Yeah.
There you go. And Shen Long is in it, Brent Chase, Robert Baker, Katie Savoy, and Mark Hamill looking like he's wearing a Jedi robe. I don't know if this is a better film than A Man Called Otto, but it may as well be. And also subscribe to our Instagram if you want to see weird movie posters like
I like that the line at the bottom, Control Alt Defeat.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I just thought it was funny. I thought, oh well, I want to show that. Let's go.
I thought it was interesting to see Tom Hanks' less known son, Truman, appear in the movie.
Who was Truman? What character?
He was young Otto. He played a younger version.
Oh, he was the young Otto. Okay. Well, I didn't notice that. There you go. They do flashbacks where they show young Otto. Let's go to some comments here. I'll get to as many of these as I can. Alan Horkin, white balance works better when you start with a white shirt for reference. Appreciate that.
I thought being white would just help, but
yeah, I think I need to get like I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out, folks. It'll be figured out in the next month or two. But you'll have to deal with me looking like this now, looking like I just was in the sun too long. Brock Samsonite said, so is it safe to say this is Tom Hanks in a discount version of Atlas Shrugged? Possibly. Davina Duckworth, young grumpy Tom was in Joe versus the Volcano. Oh, interesting. Party Pucks. It looks like Gran Torino minus a tough guy. Yeah, I definitely got Gran Torino vibes, except, Clint Eastwood is like mean and racist, and Otto is just mean. So there you go.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier says, didn't Sony pay $60 million for the rights for this? Why did they hide that it is a remake of A Man Called Ove? I don't think they hid it. But I didn't notice it in the credits.
Philosopher, it's 60 million. Why would you pay 60 million for this? I think that's the whole point of this, is that you could do it cheaper unless Tom got 50 million out of it.
Yellow Flash too. Hey, Yellow Flash. Shout out to Yellow Flash. I saw this Tom Hanks movie before. It was called As Good as It Gets. Yeah.
It's not quite that gritty.
But As Good as It Gets was actually entertaining.
Yeah.
Because Jack Nicholson is a great asshole in that movie. He's so great. There's like a great speech that he gives about how he writes women characters.
Yeah. But unlike As Good as It Gets, the character changes. I think the beauty of As Good as It Gets, Jack Nicholson's character never really changed throughout the entire film.
MK Solid 82 for $4.99 says, I'm from New York and it gets me upset when people talk about leaving. Do you guys feel the same about the California exodus? 25 years ago, these states were so great.
Mm-hmm.
I do not get upset about that because I understand the reasons. It's the economy. And if I could leave, I would. Because I could afford a house in almost any other state but New York or California. And I cannot afford a house here. And it sucks. So I'm kind of stuck here. And it sucks. But thank you, MK Solid 82. Attila the Hungry, the world needs more Roger Corman movies. Could not agree more. I was in one. I was in Carnosaur, I think in 1992. I was an extra and I had a line and I slightly changed my line. So there you go. And I was very proud of my alteration of the line. I said, can you give me a hand with this load? Because I just wanted to work the word load into the movie. I know it sounds nuts. Viper Chief 117 says, Hollywood tends to borrow concepts from other films, then just remakes them with another concept completely. Lol. Yeah. Vinziger, a.k.a. El Otaku, a.k.a. the Weeb Pillar. I'm going to recommend a shorter name there. It would be nice for Film Threat to do indie film recommendations on a monthly basis. Do you not watch our channel? We do recommends of indie films all the time. I just recommended one here.
Yeah.
It's recommended Virtually Heroes. I haven't even seen it. And I'm telling you, if Mark Hamill's wearing a brown bathrobe, I think it's better than A Man Called Otto. So yeah, we do. I mean, we try to talk about the better ones here on the channel. I think next week we're talking about a couple of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I think we're going to talk about that movie. Mm-hmm. We're also going to talk about Candyland, a horror movie called Candyland, which is out today. These are small indie movies. We usually do those on Wednesday, and then on Fridays we do the big movies that are being released in theaters. Is that so? Vinziger, aka El Ota, I'm just going to call you the Weeb Pillar. Weeb Pillar. Just watch the show, and you'll also watch the channel for reviews, and we do interviews with filmmakers as well. Patrick Lemire says they should have said influencer. Anyone who says their job is influencer should be launched into a volcano. And then he goes on to say hallmarking off check boxes. That is true. Yep. A Maggot says, so this movie belongs on Hallmark, but identifies as theatrical. That is exactly right. So Oteo says, I've changed my mind. I'm not taking Mom. Your mom will love this movie. It is it's a movie made for moms to just tug at their heartstrings. There's even this sort of homeless cat.
This homeless CG cat. Yeah.
It's partially, okay, it wasn't my imagination. It's partially CG at times.
It is creepy as hell. It's M3GAN creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, going on. Beerosaurus Rex. Now that's a name. Love that, Beerosaurus Rex. And also the icon, the little avatar for Beerosaurus Rex is a dinosaur holding a beer. What could be better? I'm assuming that character is Mac Beta, who is trans in real life, because apparently all characters must reflect the actor now. Yeah, I assume that the actor is trans, because if not, the community
that would be a bad move.
Crazy. MK Solid 82, the trans obsession really is out of control. It's just that I thought that scene was so poorly written. You're first meeting this character, and that's what they say. It would have been more interesting if you befriended the character just for who that person is, and then it was revealed later that they were trans, and it doesn't matter. I just think it's
to the film's credit, though, I at least they made something of that character, that they gave it some depth. They it wasn't just thrown in there for the sake of throwing it in there.
Right. The character actually has something to do. Mike Lusk, what child claims that they were trans? I don't know. I think it's I think some of this has to do with the parents. Some of this has to do with the parents. Patrick Lemire, is that just to get some ESG check? 100%. This movie literally has we need a bingo card. We need like a Film Threat bingo card that you can take to like the movies. And then when something happens in a movie, you check it off the card till you get bingo. And Patrick Lemire says, I've been saying this for a long time. Stop backing into parking spots, put grocery carts back. I always put grocery carts back. It annoys my girlfriend, but I'm like, no, I'm taking the grocery cart back to the cart return, or if I have to, there's no cart. I take it to the store because I'm not going to leave it to run into somebody's car. I don't know. I just think that's the right thing to do. Amanda Wiki, my mom also tried reading A Man Called Otto. She got halfway in and stopped reading. I don't think she's going to see the film. And the film philosopher says Chris kicks kids off his lawn. Not really. I don't really care about that.
But you don't have a lawn for one thing. But
I don't really have a lawn. So, yeah, there you go. Anyways, so that's A Man Called Otto. Let's pivot. Let's pivot, shall we? Let's pivot to, we're going to pivot to this thing. But just to kind of clear the, wait a second, what is going on here? Alan, 10 seconds.
Cut the blue wire, then cut the red wire, but only if the third wire is yellow.
Alan, I know you can do it, Alan. Do it.
Pull the flange.
Hold on, Alan. Hold on.
69.
Alan, 1 second. Perfect.
Sparkle.
What? Bravo to Glanuccio.
Oh my gosh.
Bravo to the Glanuccio. Oh my God. I'll play that video at the end of the show again for those who just joined us, because we have over 400 people watching live right now. Please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. We really appreciate it.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of Will Smith, Alan and I, this is true. Alan and I saw Will Smith the other day. So we were at a screening of the movie Emancipation, and we saw Will Smith was there. So I think we'll probably talk about that next week, unless Eric Weber doesn't show up.
Okay, yeah, let's do
Eric Weber was too cowardly to show up. But
I don't think he'll show up.
He might show up. We'll see. But now let's talk about M3GAN. We need to talk about M3GAN right now. Before we do, I want to show you something. When I went to see the screening, there was a friend of mine took a goofy photo of me, and here I am.
Aww.
So enamored with M3GAN. I think she wants to date me. This is what I think. This killer robot may have an obsession with me. So here's our cute. I think if we were a couple, it would be Gorgon. So there you go. All right. I'm not going to share that now. That is going to get memed, I'm sure. Why did I share that?
I know.
That was really
a great photo, by the way. That
was stupid of me. But Alan, why don't you tell us about the story of M3GAN?
Okay. Yeah, M3GAN. Oh gosh, I didn't think I would be describing this, but yeah, there's a product engineer played by Allison Williams who has been developing these toys that you can communicate with, and she's been working on this AI technology, and that's where M3GAN comes into play. It's a girl doll who learns about you, who connects with you, and becomes kind of that playmate. And so early in the film, we find out that her niece was involved in a car accident with her parents, her sister and brother-in-law. They die. The girl's left abandoned and now must live with Allison Williams' character. I'll get the name Gemma. And so because Gemma is so involved in her work, and she is under this pressure to make the Furby type toy they created cheaper, she has no time to spend with Katie, the little girl. So she brings M3GAN home and kind of tests this new technology. And of course, M3GAN and Katie get along well, almost too well. And Katie starts to develop, her AI starts to develop more and more. And as AI do, it becomes paranoid, thinking that humans don't like them. And there you go. That's your AI robot movie. And yes, I would say this is the next gen Chucky. It's essentially the same thing, but without the demon possessed doll. This one is just wacky AI. That's the best way I could describe this movie. I will say this: I did not want to see this movie. I'm glad I did. And the reason I like this movie, and these are the kind of horror movies I'm drawn to, is it takes an idea and just really digs deep into it. Just this idea of a proxy parenting by proxy, where you give your kids some device to occupy their time, and that this kid now becomes attached to these devices. It takes not only that thread of an idea, but it explodes that idea and examines just all the unnecessary side effects that something like this would do, and it really goes deep. I mean, this is a thoughtful movie, and that's why I like this movie, because it just makes you think about where we are as a society when it comes to our devices. The Alexas in our homes, if you have them, and it just explores this, and I just found this exploration incredibly fascinating, only to be ruined by murder and death. And so I'm semi-mixed on this. What do you think, Chris?
I love this film. It's a popcorn movie. It's more of a comedy than it is a horror. I do like that the horror aspect is more psychological in the film, and it does delve into, the dangers of AI, and AI kind of going a little too far. The character design of M3GAN itself, which is there's a little girl that actually plays the character. Yeah. Like, I saw a little behind the scenes that was on YouTube that showed how the character's done. It's great. This movie just leans into kids' obsession with toys that interact with apps, screen time, like how much time parents spend with their kids, right? How they can just say, oh, just go play with this toy, and you can have all the time you want. There's a scene with Allison Williams and Katie at the dinner table. She says, oh, you can be on the screen as long as you want, which is, that's kind of the problem. It's not directly commenting in an overt way on bad parenting, but it does comment on that. It is a comment on it. But it's so, this character of M3GAN, from the voice acting to the actual girl in the outfit, fantastic, hysterical, funny. Like, there's scenes that are just darkly comedic, like when she's singing a song to kind of console Katie. Yeah. And it's so dark. It's so dark. Oh my God. Just the whole theater just bursted out into laughter because you know what's coming. I also think what's interesting about this is Chucky, while I love Chucky, it is sort of like, it's a spirit, like it's a doll imbued with a dark spirit, right? Whereas this is like, this could be a real thing. There could be a killer doll, right? It could exist. Maybe not have the body strength. I think you're pushing it there. But and also the kills, there are kills, a number of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah.
And they're great. They're all played for some comedy. And Ronnie Cheng, which I've seen Ronnie Cheng's. Have you seen his Netflix comedy special?
I've seen bits of it. Yeah.
Well, I watched the whole thing, Alan. It's great. And Ronnie Cheng is so good as the boss. He's such an asshole. He's perfect.
But my problem with that is, this is a product engineering. This is AI software. How is it that the Asian is the least technical person in this group?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That makes zero sense. You would expect to see one Asian in this lab, but there isn't.
Yeah, but he's so good as that character. And a friend of mine, I will say this, The movie is PG-13. A friend of mine in September saw the R-rated version of this movie. They were deciding whether to go R or PG-13. And this could be considered, well, I guess it's not a spoiler because it's not in the movie. But my friend who saw the R-rated version of M3GAN back in September said, and he said it's incredibly gory. He also watched it last night with us. He's part of our movie meetup group. And he said that Ronnie Chang's character, his head gets cut off and is thrown into the elevator. It's different in the movie, right? It's different in the movie, but in the R-rated version, it was Ronnie Chang's head. So it was way more gory and over the top. Wow. I think what they'll do with this, though, is, the first movie is going to be PG-13. They have got to be working on one now. There's going to be a M3GAN 2.0.
It's going to make
it's going to be. This is, I don't think it's going to beat Avatar this weekend, but for sure, this is going to do well over the long haul because, Blumhouse has a way of making these movies very affordable. So some can tank and then some do really well. I think they're one of the studios with one of the best track records in Hollywood right now. They just make things consistently good. It's James Wan is involved in this. It's just super fun. And it is PG-13. I will say this. I think it's definitely PG-13. If you take like a 9-year-old or under to see this movie, I think that they would be really, really scared.
Yeah. I mean, most of the kills are off screen, or the final deaths. And I think it is a smart move to make it PG-13. I think the story on its own is strong and stands on its own. And I don't think it needed the R rating to give that story, to make that story any better than it is.
Exactly. So strong recommendation for this.
Let me say one thing about this movie. It's written by Akilah Cooper, who has done a lot of genre TV. She wrote 2 episodes of Luke Cage. How did Marvel let this person go? Can you imagine this writer writing She-Hulk? Yeah. And how much better She-Hulk would have been. I mean, the character of Gemma is so well thought out. She is a flawed person, a flawed female.
Right. Yeah.
And everything that happens to her is a direct result of her inability to connect with her niece. And I'm like, this is exactly what we were saying She-Hulk was and should have been and never became. And it's funny. It's got the dark tones to it. I mean, can you imagine She-Hulk having gone down this kind of a route?
Well, and yes, yes, Yellow Flash too. It is good. It's entertaining. It sets up an expectation and it follows through on the expectation. It's not long. It's like an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing these, every movie's 3. I mean, even Otto was like 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Yeah. I got home on time. I got home at a reasonable hour last night.
Yeah. And then Yellow Flash 2 says it's good. It's good. Viper Chief 117 says Chris Gore said it was good. That's blasphemy. No, it's not. It's just, I'm telling you my truth. And my truth is that M3GAN is good. James became a new member. Thank you for that. Alan, do the M3GAN dance.
That's not something.
Alan, the film philosopher, is asking you, please do the M3GAN dance.
That's not something I wish to have on the internet forever.
So more Chucky than Ex Machina, says Snakes and Funerals. Yes, but what I do think is interesting is the movie does delve into some of the ideas that were explored in Ex Machina, which is what happens with AI. What happens when AI becomes self-aware? What happens when AI becomes aware that it could die and cease to exist? How would an AI react to that? And that's what and what's interesting is when they've done AI experiments, like in the real world, when they've done AI experiments, it seems like AI always goes kind of crazy. Right? I mean, there've been, didn't they have to okay, all right, now it's a super chat. You have, Alan.
Well, here's the deal. If you ever want to see me dance, come to the National Comedy Theater in San Diego. and there are moments where I am forced to dance, and there you go. So
And
let's support a small business in San Diego if you want to see me dance.
By the way, I've seen Alan dance during his comedic improv, and it's worth the trip to San Diego.
I know. Depending on who's in the crowd, I will pole dance in the show.
Thank you for that, Lost Tales. Shucksy, it sounds like if you regularly go to the theater, you should watch this one. Yes. If you're someone who...
Because Avatar is what's in the theater at the moment.
Yeah, and then A Man Called Otto. Take your mom. Take your mom to see it. Drop her off there and then go do something else. Artful Dodger says, well said, Alan. We need to start a list of good writers to follow their projects outside the biz here. English Batchers says, so it's like a normal kids movie from the 70s, pretty much. Like a good, solid, like it's so funny that like and maybe we're overpraising this movie just because it does what a movie just should do, which is just entertain. I mean, there's nothing, and you know, before anyone asks, yes, there's nothing particularly overly woke in it. But I also feel like a lot of what happens sometimes is there's such an aversion to wokeness that you're looking for it where it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just like, you know, Allison Williams, she's the lead character. She is a scientist and she's kind of a nerd too. I did like that aspect of her character. She has like these toys on her shelf, but the toys are collectibles. You're not supposed to touch them. They're just there not to be played with. I'm like, okay, I like her. And then CD Stein 69 says, only complaint was the Gemma character was the stereotypical tech millennial. That's fine though. I mean,
yeah, but it works against her. That's right. What I like about it.
Yeah, it does work against her. Shane Mackey, my buddy, says Chris posing with M3GAN looks like a rom-com poster. Does it? That's going to be the sequel.
Please, everybody, capture this image.
It's going to be an adult man. No, here's my pitch for the sequel. It's an adult man who deals with collectibles. He has a toy store, right? And it's getting some, you know, he has a YouTube channel and he does things on toys and he gets this M3GAN toy, which he kind of confuses as like an all-American girl, and falls in love with the doll. And the doll is just not, I have just given the worst pitch ever.
Yeah,
do not make that movie.
No, my pitch is in the movie, something happens to the plans, and that's where the next chapter goes.
Right. Well, I you know, you can't have a horror movie like that and not have some sort of like tease at the end that something might happen. And there's no post credits anything.
There's a tease. There's definitely a tease.
Well, there's a tease for sure. There is a tease, and that's almost, you come to expect it, right? They got to set up a sequel, and I believe that this is a franchise in the making. This is the logical next evolution in the killer doll movie. And killer doll types of films have existed ever since, if you go back to like, you know, the Twilight Zone. Telly Savalas was in an episode about a killer doll called Talking Tina. Do you remember Talking Tina?
Yes. That's a great episode.
Great episode. So there's been a lot of, that's like a classic episode of the Twilight Zone. So the genre of the creepy killer doll, ventriloquist dummy, whatever, this has been around for, you know, a very long time. And this is the perfect capitalizing on people's obsession with technology and social media. And then how do you get kids to stop looking at screens and actually interact with something, which that person should logically be a parent, but in this case it's a doll because the character Gemma can't make that connection. Right. So there are deeper layers to this movie that I think make it better than just if it was just a killer doll. Right. There are more layers to it and more layers that could be explored in follow-up. So Patrick Lemire says, so a dumb movie that is quietly super smart. Well, at least it has smart ideas worthy of discussion.
And it explores it. It discusses these things, which is what I liked. The other question I have to ask you is,
yes,
you know better. What did you think of the use of the jump scares? Personally, I thought it was done well in this one.
Yes, because the jump scares aren't too many.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole thing which, and there's also some,
and there's one that comes out of nowhere early in the film that was like, where the hell did this show up? But it works its way into the plot, which is great. I'm talking about the dog.
Right. Yeah. It's just, the problem with jump scares is it's cheap. It's a cheap way to get a scare. And I really think they did a great job with this. The jump scares are used sparingly. And that's the way it should be. Because that way, if you're doing too many jump scares, you just come to expect it. And a jump scare should come when you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie did.
Or you use it because there's a lull in your plot and you need to throw something in.
Got to have something scary every 5 minutes. Yeah. Wait, so better than Mark Hamill's Child's Play? Yes, 100%.
I haven't seen that.
Is this a prequel to the Fembots in Austin Powers? Says Red Terror 1978. No, it's not. The Lost Tales is back for 5. Doll falls in love with him, starts killing everyone who likes him. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so it has daddy issues in the next one.
Right. Can we see? Look, it's almost like
M3GAN 2 daddy issues.
Yeah. Yes. This is
poster. That is the plot of M3GAN 2.
This is the poster for M3GAN 2. It's right there. Oh my God. That's terrible. Thank you for that, Lost Tales. Mike Lusk, Avatar 2 has already made more money than Top Gun 2. Okay, that's an achievement. Let's discuss that for a moment. It took, Top Gun Maverick, it opened in May and it played all year and has done incredibly well. And Avatar 2 beat it in 3 weeks. Yep. And we'll get to 2 billion before the end of January. It appears that way. Global box office. So
I believe We Told You So would be appropriate to say.
Well, I think the problem is there is a knee-jerk reaction to like a lot of this stuff. When the first weekend people were saying, well, Avatar 2, it's a bomb. And you got to look at the history of James Cameron movies, look at trends, like what is going to get people out to the theater. And a lot of the movies that Hollywood released this year weren't good enough to get people to say, we're all as a family going to go to the movies. That hasn't happened. That movie hasn't existed. And I don't know if Yellow.
Did you realize what the event was that shot Avatar box office wise? It was the end of the World Cup. Once the World Cup ended, the box office for Avatar just blew up.
Well, it was interesting because in the third weekend of Avatar made more money than the second weekend.
Yeah, but the thing
is, when does that happen?
In that first 2 weeks, the discussion was where's the international audience? Where's the international audience?
They were watching the World Cup.
Yeah, they're watching the World Cup because right now I believe the international sales is like 70% versus domestic. So it says a lot about why this movie is succeeding. It has global appeal.
Now, are you saying, Alan, that the World Cup already happened and I missed it?
Yeah, I know. I didn't even know that was going on, but yeah.
All right.
Someone won.
Somebody won. All right. Well, that's good. Yeah. Michael Seagriff says, isn't Blumhouse doing The Exorcist next? Yes, that is true. That is a true statement. Patrick Lemire says, smart. They'll sell hard copies on disc of the R-rated. I'm going to guess there will be an R-rated version of M3GAN. Why not? Make more money with it. But what I think is smart about doing a PG-13 version is you get kids to see it now, so they get interested in the franchise, and then they'll go see the R-rated version. Mm-hmm. So it's like, just make this movie for the broadest possible audience, right? Yeah. And it definitely is bordering on the PG-13, R. Yeah. It's just sort of right in the mix. But I would like to see that Ronnie Cheng scene with his dismembered head. I think that would be great. Brock Samsonite says, so did they do the altered carbon thing and make her personality an uploaded dead person? They did not.
No. That's AI. It's true AI.
That's true AI. Well, it is 10 a.m. and there's no Eric Weber. I have texted him. Should I call him? Should I call him?
Sure.
Right now? See if we can make this happen.
Maybe you can catch him in between reps.
He's probably going to the gym. He's going to the gym. He's doing something right now.
He found a celebrity to compare his abs to.
Here we go. It's gonna do a different background here. Well, that's kind of distracting. Let's just do that. There we go. All right, I'm just gonna call Eric. Just gonna call him. All right. Let's see what it's ringing. It's ringing. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
All right. Calling him up. Calling up Eric.
He's not going to answer you.
You think he's going to answer?
I don't think he's going to answer.
He's not going to answer.
You
think? Well, yes, of course he knows it's me. Oh, by the way, when I call Eric, my phone says Robert Downey Jr. See? Can you see that?
Please leave your message for one.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I'll do with certain friends of mine. I'll put celebrity names instead of my friend's name. So when they call me, when Eric calls, because people always bug him, like, you look like Robert Downey Jr. He's like, yes. I get that all the time. So when Eric calls me, it says Robert Downey Jr. And I always tell my friends, excuse me, I have to take this. I have to take this call. I have to take this call. Well, let's take that banner down for a minute and we'll go through some of the chat questions here and comments. Weber. Oh, shucksy, Weber, come out to play. I've got the little, I love, that is one of the best things from Warriors. Let's see what else. If he doesn't show up, does that mean Chris is correct on everything by default? Dude B, you are correct. That means I win the argument by default. Alan, I need to take a quick break.
Okay.
So take over for a second, reading comments. We'll see if Eric shows up.
You can help me grab some super not super chats, but some chats. Yeah, we got that. Okay. Let's see. Can you? All right, here we go. Alphin Crafts says, I don't know if I'm gonna watch this doll movie. I like Chucky better because it looks like a doll toy. I think M3GAN looks too much like a sex doll from today. Weird and uncanny valley. Yeah, there's a moment. I won't say where it happens, but there's a moment. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It's a kid in a suit. We'll just leave it at that. Shuxy, clearly Chris poisoned Weber the night before so he could get the win by default. Yeah, that's interesting. That maybe Chris feels like he does need some kind of advantage there. Not saying that he does, but it could be. Let's see. Do we do this one? Dodd B. If he doesn't show up, it means. Oh, yeah, we got that one. Got that one. Moving right along. Shucks. Okay, we got that one. I'm just trying to clear out the old ones. Dude B. Allen. When Chris phones you, what name do you have him as? Yeah, that's a good one. Right now it's Chris Gore, but if you have any ideas, I can change it as well. Put a nice photo there. Imperfect Alan, can you do a math problem for me? What is 69 times 69? Let's see, that's 81. 6. So is that 469? Yeah. All right. Hey, welcome back.
Well, you know me, Alan. I can't. Yeah, it's like I have to plan when I go to the bathroom. When I see a movie, I have to plan it out well. So, because I'm going to go to the bathroom probably at least once. But if it's a shorter movie, like a 90-minute movie, I can make it. But for Babylon or Avatar,
3-hour movies.
I'm gonna probably have 2 bathroom breaks for movies like that. So
I know.
So
no, I just love going to a 6:30 movie and coming home at 8:30.
That's great. It's great. Breaking news. This literally just hit my email inbox. Season 2 of Wednesday has been officially greenlit.
For what studio or for what streamer?
For Netflix.
For Netflix. Okay. There was talk that it might have moved to Amazon.
So Netflix confirms the cultural phenomenon that captivated the world Wednesday will return for a second season to delight fans only on Netflix. So that's the official press release. I have now broken the news from an email that I just received. So there you go. But other thing that's interesting that's coming up, Alan, is the CCA, the Critics' Choice Awards. Voting begins today. We should let people know about the organization and what it is oh wait, a couple more comments here before we get to that. Patrick Lemire, my problem with Renfield is Renfield. He's not supposed to be dapper. Okay. And then Mike
Did he have powers? That was the other thing that confused me. I don't remember Renfield supposed to have powers.
Chris dropped the She-Hulk. Incorrect. Just because we care about facts.
Yeah.
But the Critics' Choice Awards is a week from this Sunday. Alan and I are both part of this organization. We actually have 3 members of Film Threat that are part of the CCA. It's the Critics' Choice Awards. We vote. We're voting members. We will be at the awards, which I believe airs where, Alan?
On the CW on Sunday. A week from Sunday.
Okay. I was going to play that music for a second, but
I know what the ceremony is and when it is.
So Alan and I will be there. It's an organization that is fairly influential when it comes to, influencing what movies get nominated for Oscars. I think that the award show as a genre is a dying genre. It's dying. It's on the wane in the same way that, a laugh track sitcom is dead, or late night talk shows. Late night talk shows are dead. I think they died. I think they were dying even before times in 2019. They're even more dead now as they're just effectively become another tool to push whatever the message is of the day, whatever the narrative is. Late night talk, it used to be just the news push that. Now it's late night talk shows and everything push whatever the narrative that needs to be pushed out there, right? As soon as that happened and they put that over being funny, that's when shows like SNL, which I've watched since I was a kid, that's virtually a dead show when it cares less about comedy than it does about, about pushing whatever agenda they have to shoehorn in. That's what really struck me about Otto. It felt like a lot of the messaging that's in Otto, like, are movies getting tax breaks for including certain types of messaging? I asked this as a serious question.
No.
Because
are they getting carbon credits if they talk about the environment?
Exactly. Just something, because I noticed, why is it that, this movie Otto is, it's a movie you've seen before. Grumpy man grows a heart. It's the story of the Grinch. Okay. But it's not set during Christmas, but it is effectively the story of the Grinch. Crabby old man becomes nice old man. Seen it, done, been there, done that. But what's interesting is all of the different characters that Otto encounters are just sort of conduits for messaging. So I just got to ask, because this comes up so often, it's so often that, like, is there, look, this is going to sound conspiracy. I'm literally only because I see a trend do I bring this up. But it's revealed through the Twitter files that Twitter had a lot of interaction with government saying, these are messages we want out there. These are messages we don't want out there. These are accounts we want banned. Please ban these accounts. Mm-hmm. And that's just at Twitter. You guaranteed 100% that's happening at Google. It's happening at Facebook. It's happening.
Yeah. Zuckerberg already admitted he admitted a long time ago that the government came to them and was doing all these shenanigans.
I think he even talked about it on Joe Rogan. It was like an offhand remark, like, no biggie, right?
Yeah.
But this is why, should we be surprised then? I am merely putting this on. This is it's not a conspiracy theory. It's really just, well, I guess it is a theory. But it's just looking at the trends of the types of topics being tackled in movies, in innocuous films, like a movie, A Man Called Otto, could very well be. I mean, I described it as a Hallmark movie that should be on streaming. You know, that's what it is. But the messaging is so clear and so overt, including the one character that we talked about, that it makes you want to ask, is the government having conversations with Hollywood about the types of movies they would like to see made? Now,
see, I don't. Yeah. Okay.
No. I'm saying, I'm asking the question because the government does work with Hollywood already. Right. If ever you include military, there is a division of the U.S. military that works with entertainment. You know that, right? So if you want, Michael Bay talks about it. When Michael Bay,
well, I mean, I think a lot of that. Okay, so Hollywood's always been this way. I think the only thing that changes are the subject matters that change. You know, years ago, all this would have been about race. In A Man Called Otto, it's the trans issue. So apparently, racism solved. But this is, you know, Hollywood has always been, at least from the '60s, has always been a liberal, you know, megaphone. You know,
but it was more balanced. It didn't vilify.
No. You
don't think I mean, so?
to say a big Hollywood studio was pro-conservative, I can't remember. I don't think there's ever really been a pro-conservative movie, and to say it's balanced, I don't think it's ever been balanced. You know, well, I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying that this state of Hollywood, conservatism has always been on the outs with Hollywood for decades. So I think the only thing that's changed here is the subject matters that they address and the veracity in which they promote these ideas and these agendas.
Well, let's go to your chat comments and questions here. Viper Chief 117 says Alana is Alan's killer doll name. And Cavatino Cavalryman Shea says, will Film Threat be reviewing House Party remake that is coming out soon? Yes.
Oops. Okay.
We'll go to that. I'll go see it. The English Batchers says the Green Berets was pretty pro-conservative in my opinion.
Yeah, but when was John Wayne? I mean, John Wayne was the head of SAG. You know, that was a long time ago. And you saw the shift not too far after that.
And what about Clint Eastwood? Remember his speech with the empty chair?
Yeah, but that's his personal. I'm talking about his movies. You know, his movies. You know, to say that Hollywood produced a conservative movie, I can't remember the last time that happened.
Yeah, Michael Seagraff says Hollywood was last pro-conservative during World War II.
Yeah.
Andrew Wordna, Dark Knight was considered liberal subtext in 2008. Today, it'd be white supreme pizza.
Yeah.
I love supreme pizza. That has it has meat on it, onions.
Yeah. Right. But the point here is, I mean, look how far progressive thought has taken over Hollywood to where, you know, liberal messages from the Dark Knight are now considered conservative and white supremacist.
It's just bizarre. Gunho Max says ESG equals extra sexy gore.
Yeah.
Does it? Is it? Like, I don't know. That oh my God. All right. Mr. Smith, would you consider the pro-military and gun action movies of the 80s pro-conservative?
Definitely, yeah.
I would,
yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So that was the 80s. It's not that long ago, Alan.
Yeah, but again, okay, so I'll modify it. Outside action movies.
See?
Outside of movies that have a high extensive use of guns.
CD Stein 69, the hidden, not so hidden ESG scoring. And then Solomon Thornton says, when agenda takes over the story, movie will lose every time. I mean, with Otto, they kind of do their best to organically kind of weave it in, but it stands out so much. Like certain lines in the movie are just like, it's like I say, I inappropriately laughed a couple of times during it, especially the CG cat.
Well, look, I mean, we're talking about award season. Award season has always uplifted the liberal messages, even as far back as like All the President's Men, China Syndrome, Silkwood. These were you would never say that the Oscars, the Academy would ever go after conservative films. Maybe Braveheart was the last one.
Yeah. Toxic Welts N8 says make Batman fun again. And MK Solid 82, the first time I saw fans getting attacked was when Michael Bay mocked the fans who hated his messy robot designs for the first Transformers movie. I don't remember that, but I believe it. I remember liking the first Transformers movie, just the first one. And then after that, it just became a mess. Like you couldn't tell what was going on. So thank you for that, MK Solid 82. And MK Solid 82 goes on to say, Chris, I feel like Jenna Ortega's Wednesday dance is the only original thing Hollywood has done, and it's only because she invented it herself. Yeah, it's true. Mm-hmm. Patrick Lemire says, Michael Moore got booed the first time he was at the Oscars for doing a political speech. It wasn't that long ago. The smart people knew it'd kill the golden goose. And then Patrick goes on to say the award show is dead because it became a DNC infomercial. That's fairly accurate. When it was a celebration of movie and glamour, the ratings for the Oscars broadcast was second only to the Super Bowl. Now, get woke, go broke. Yeah, I just feel that people don't like to be lectured by millionaires. That's also part of it, right? Like being lectured by millionaires, it's just after a while it just becomes insufferable. And it's who are you to tell me how to live my life? And also Hollywood used to tell blue collar stories.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
Remember Sally Field in what was that movie she was in?
Norma Ray.
Norma Ray. She was in a movie called Norma Ray. And that was a working class blue collar story. And Hollywood used to stand up for the working person. It's almost like Hollywood has become like Congress. Like, Dems or Republicans, doesn't matter. They used to stand up for working people, and that just doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. And when you're not serving the needs of the majority of people, they tend to tune out.
Yeah. Yeah, when has that happened recently? Oh yeah, this year.
Yeah, exactly. Mexican Iron Man. Hey man, love it. Oh my God, Mike, what an amazing human being. We're going to be hanging out again a week from today. I'm so stoked. Mexican Iron Man for $9.99 says, last night was awesome. Meeting Chris Gore in person is bucket list next level achievement unlocked. Really?
Wait till he meets me.
Well, thanks for all you, Alan, and Film Thread do for us movie fans that actually go to the movies. We got a discussion about that. Mexican Iron Man and I got into a discussion about just, I want to hear, I love diverse opinions. Mm-hmm. I want to hear different opinions about a movie, but you have to see the movie. And sometimes there are a lot of people that will talk about films that haven't seen the movie. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to hear your thoughts. I can understand being turned off and not wanting to go see a film. And I do feel very fortunate. I feel very lucky that I live somewhere close to a lot of movie theaters. It's just $25 for AMC A-list, and I go every week. So, yeah, but thank you, Mexican Iron Man. We will be reunited a week from today for a very special event that I can't talk about. So there you go. Murdoch 86 for 10. Here's to a great 2023. Thanks, Film Threat. Yes, love you guys. Oh, that's great. And then Beerosaurus Rex is back. That's a name. Beerosaurus Rex. In the 80s, 90s, even 2000s, pre-Occupy, or certainly pre-Trump, being conservative also wasn't a taboo / insult. it was like Red Sox and Yankee fans, not Allied versus Axis powers. Yeah, it's bizarre. And I've seen it happen to friends of mine, right? I've seen it happen to friends of mine where they're just so like, where it's shocking some of the things longtime friends of mine are saying about people on another side of the political aisle. It's dehumanizing. It's the very opposite of being empathetic. And it's kind of sickening to see. I
mean, quite frankly, that's where fascism begins. If this idea that you can loathe someone you don't agree with to the point that, I mean, when certain conservative figures died, and to see people dancing on their graves is disgusting to me, because I would never do it to anyone who I disagreed with.
Right. God, well, Beerosaurus Rex dropping knowledge bombs. And CD Stein 69 says, I truly think the one major thing that's changed is the overtly vilification of conservatives. And I don't agree. You know what? I don't agree with that. I do not. I think that when I see that happening, I think it was really Gina Carano who first kind of recognized or at least spoke out. Not that she's the first to point it out, but she pointed out in a big way, kind of like, this is going down a bad path. There have been some conservative movies, 13 Hours, American Sniper, and everything from Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. But again, mostly military movies, and I hate to say it, there may be a shift coming in military movies at some point.
You think so? Yeah. That is going to be bizarre. Thank you for the comment, CD Stein 69. Not the Batman says, if a Netflix series makes it to season 2, you can expect it to be canceled then. Sorry to say, I agree with you. Yeah. And Derek Douglas says, we're getting another version of The Color Purple. No one asked for this shit.
Well, the problem is Steven Spielberg directed the first one. So you need to remake the movie.
You need to remake the movie and have it remade by not Steven Spielberg. How about that?
Well, I think you can narrow down the talent of directors even more from Steven Spielberg.
Snakes and Funerals says, was Gina Carano the canary in the coal mine? Alan, thoughts?
I think there've been a lot of canaries, but it's definitely it's the one we think about when the subject comes out. Definitely.
I agree.
It's just sad that a single tweet like that can destroy an entire career.
Well, it wasn't a single tweet. She talked about it. She did an interview literally like a week after she was let go from Lucasfilm on, I think it was the Ben Shapiro show. Yeah. She did an interview, and she was very upfront, but she was clearly shook from everything that happened to her, that literally just being vocal about your views is, and I don't like this. I think that there should be a diversity of thought, and there should be, look, Kirk Cameron should be able to read his book at a library. What's wrong with that? There's an imbalance right now, and I think it's does us a disservice. It's very disheartening to see.
I mean, we've talked about it. Like we don't like making this live stream about politics, but the one political issue we will talk about is censorship.
Right.
Freedom of speech. I mean, that's the thing at least this live cast stands behind. You say what you think. Yeah. Say what you think, and we'll talk about it.
Kyle Ackerman, why is Eric Weber scared? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to screen cap that, and I am going to send it to Eric. So I am screen capping this, and I am sending it to Eric Weber. I'm literally, okay, I've got the screen cap, and I am sending it to Eric. Why is Eric Weber scared? So there you go. I just sent it to him. There you go. I think maybe there might be something going on with Eric today, so I'm not gonna make any assumptions. But thank you for that, Kyle. Thank you for that comment here. Ty Thompson, I work in the biz and I have to keep my mouth shut on all things political. I have heard that from a lot of people. I mean, look,
and but it's been that way. I would say that it's been that way since the 80s.
And I've been, a lot of people try to like guess or sort of assume my politics. I've always been a centrist in the sense that I voted across party lines, right? I don't consider myself loyal to any party, an independent. And I'll vote Democrat, I'll vote Republican. I really look at the person, not necessarily the letter next to their name. And so that's what I will do. But yeah, Ty, I feel you. And also I try to keep Film Threat that way too, where we're politically agnostic. We're not, if you read the website, what's on the website today? Now I have to look.
Yeah, I think.
What is on filmthreat.com? Let's share.
You pull it up?
I'll share it. I'll share it here. So, because I want to see.
Yeah.
If you scroll through Film Threat and you look at like what we're doing, it's all over the place. And I mean this in a good way, right? I don't know, credits amongst friends. I don't know what that is. Looks like a short film comedy. We cover a lot of short films. Loft Film Fest 2022 wrap up. Cool. Looks like we're covering a film festival there.
Yeah.
Let's see. A Place Called Home. That looks interesting. Let's see. What's this? Talent Keyhole. Yes, I've heard of this one.
Yeah, that's a sci-fi movie.
Sci-fi, it's indie sci-fi. See, we cover this stuff. Keep scrolling. What is this? Second Chance? What is this guy doing here?
That's a documentary.
Oh, it all started outside a pizza joint in Detroit during the 1970s, or at least that's how. What is this movie? That looks good, actually. I love documentaries. Sumner Forbes wrote this review. Oh, right. Okay, got 6.5. Okay, now I want to see this. And don't 6 and above at Film Threat is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll just say.
Yeah, it's a 3 out of 5, and in general, those are at least a minimal recommendation.
Yeah, so if you go and you just scroll on the Film Threat front page, we feature about 15 movies. Second Chance. Oh, that looks okay, cool. That's one that was kind of because the poster's so bizarre. Adelina. Oh my God, we have a review of I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yes.
Okay, I saw that's out. This is a movie Alan and I did not see. What review did it get on filmthreat.com?
I believe, and this is Michael, who tends to like a lot of things. I think he gave it
7 out of 10.
7 out of
I
10.
hear it's good for what it is, but this looks like a streaming movie. This looks like a streaming movie to me.
Well, I mean, definitely wasn't pushed that hard from the studio.
Yeah, I know it. Like, I don't know if there were press screenings or whatever, but
there was one. There's one, and I was supposed to go to it, but I missed it.
Okay, that's cool. Burnsy's Last Call, director's cut. It looks like a music documentary.
Yeah, it's about Armenian genocide and how Armenian artists have flourished from their pain, and it's a pretty good documentary, actually. The music's really good in it.
Streetwalker, Holy Spider. We covered the International Film Festival of India.
Yeah, we actually sent someone there.
Almost Home looks like a sci-fi short film.
Yeah, it's on the Oscar short list. It's really good.
And we will have reviews of all of the movies nominated, all of the short films. There are 2 categories of shorts nominated in the Oscars: documentary and narrative short. We will have reviews of all of them. So
yeah, I believe animated is another one too.
That is Alan's promise to you. And then you can just go to our review section and check out whatever. Okay. All right. That's good. Cool. All right. Back to your chat comments and questions here. And Ty Thompson, man, I feel for you. And it sucks because I kind of feel like the people that have the power now are abusing it. The people that have perceived themselves as having power, I believe are being abusive of it. And when that happens, like Shuxy points out, firing Gina destroyed Lucasfilm more than Gina's career, thankfully. Yeah, someone pointed out, I think it might have been Yellow Flash actually, pointed out that there is no interest. When you look at the year 2023 and people are like, here are the movies I'm looking forward to. And they even did an audience polls. No one is looking forward to Indiana Jones. Yellow Flash did a video on it. Shout out to him and check out his channel. You probably already subscribe anyways. But so how is it that a fifth Indiana Jones movie is coming? It's going to be the last hurrah for Indiana Jones, and nobody cares. Why? Why is that? Is it because Lucasfilm, because of the sort of cumulative effects of Obi-Wan Kenobi was terrible, Gina Carano was fired? Why is it that people don't care about a new Indiana Jones? Alan, your thoughts?
I find it interesting that Phoebe Waller-Bridge barely appears in the trailer. I'm not sure if you would think that if the movie were overly woke, that she would be in it more, or are they learning? I don't know. I could argue either side of that. I think part of the reason is, it's been a long time since there was an Indiana Jones movie, and the last one didn't do that well. And then I think the trailer is overly CG. And that's not anything. I would never associate Indiana Jones with computer generated imagery. So I don't think it feels like an Indiana Jones movie, and I think that's why people feel that way.
Right. Patrick Lemire says Gina's career is what now? I think she lost more. I think it depends. I know that she's producing films now.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to know that that's what she's delving into, and she did that Terror on the Prairie movie for Daily Wire. Tucker Time says Indiana Jones rode off into the sunset with his dad in 1989. Mm-hmm. Period. I agree.
I would. Yeah.
Thank you for that,
absolutely.
Jeff Tucker, my friend Jeff Tucker. Yeah. Tucker Time. Subscribe to his channel.
By the way, I should say this. Back to the other subject. Conservative films, faith-based films, family movies, they make a lot of money, and it never gets reported by the mainstream media. But there's money to be had in those genres.
Here's the thing that's not being reported, which is the real story of the box office for 2022. Movies that served a certain audience did very well. Top Gun Maverick.
A broad audience.
A broad audience, yes. Did very well. Avatar, The Way of Water, is a story of a family with a strong father figure. And all these other movies underperformed or did poorly. And movies like Bros, whatever you think about Bros, that movie never should have been made for the budget it was made for. It never should have been a broad release. What Hollywood fails to recognize, and the story that Hollywood will not write in the trades, is that these are not mainstream movies. Bros is not a mainstream movie. Can Bros be made and be a successful movie? Absolutely. Same movie, make it for $2 million, open it in a limited release in New York and LA to packed audiences, because it will be packed. And it is a narrow audience. And this is the thing that people fail to recognize. This is, and also, Alan, from you and I, covering indie film as long as, well, I've been covering it since I started Film Threat a long time ago. And you've been covering it for years as well. You recognize that there are certain ideas that work really well in indie films, right? Mm-hmm. Which are definitely more liberal ideas. They do very well. But you try to take some of those ideas broad, they don't have broad appeal. They just do not have broad appeal. In particular, when they go after families and whatnot, it's irritating. I take umbrage to that. A couple other comments here. We have a lot of comments, actually. I think that's what we'll do, because Eric is, and also subscribe to Eric Weber's channel. We're gonna, I'm gonna find his channel and say, Eric, just do like, if you can do chicken emoji, next time Eric does, next time,
he's gonna ban you off of his stream soon.
You think he's gonna ban me?
Yeah, if you're telling people to call.
Okay, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Yes, you're right. That's not fair.
Yeah, don't.
No,
he is still your friend at the moment. So
he is my friend. He's my friend no matter what. I really don't care. He's my friend no matter what. But I would like to debate him. But yeah, don't do anything untoward. Untoward, where I'm going to present. I'm going to share screen of his channel. So, Midnight Movie Talk with Eric Weber. There you go. There's Eric's channel.
Yes,
So,
and he is very high on M3GAN as well.
Yeah, I think he did. It said he did kind of a review of it. There you go. So subscribe to Eric's channel. He could use it. But no, he'll I did ask him, so he's aware of it. Something must have happened. So so there you go. Oh, so I sent him that thing, the screenshot, and it says red. He did look at it. He did look at it. No, Eric's a really good guy. We don't agree a whole heck of a lot, but that's why I like talking to him about movies. We don't agree. So, Al, did you watch Terror on the Prairie? Thoughts? We did watch it.
Yeah.
I thought it was solid Western.
Solid action.
But
Western action, yeah.
Yeah, gruesome. And there is a review on the channel. If you go to the Film Threat YouTube channel, just look up Terror on the Prairie or Gina Carano. I'm sure you'll find it. Solomon Thornton says, I believe that Last Jedi destroyed the Star Wars franchise. Gina Carano situation just put the nail in the coffin. Well, I think that Force Awakens and not reuniting Han, Luke, and Leia, that killed the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to put it on The Last Jedi. I think J.J. Abrams is the reason, the fact that trilogy, which was a slam dunk, didn't at the very least reunite Han, Luke, Leia, and Lando and the robots. Why they didn't just do that? I think it's stupid. I don't know why they didn't do it. Brock Sampson, I look, I love Gina, two guys, but let's be real. She's producing now because she can't get hired to perform anymore. It's the sad but awful truth. All right,
yeah.
fine.
That's the fate of many actors who fall out with Hollywood.
Alan's favorite movie was Passion of the Christ, lol, says Viper 117.
I've actually never seen the movie. I've never seen the movie. I've read the book many times. But I've not, and mostly because I'm not into extreme violence.
Clever Luther Talbert for 10 says, people forget Pascal called folks like me a Nazi, and Gina simply pointed out what happens when you go down that path. He's still with Disney and she got fired. The double standard is blatant. Facts.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
The apology process they wanted Gina to go through in order to get her job was demoralizing. You know,
yeah,
and I respect the fact that she refused to do it, and the fact that, you know, she showed us what happens when you don't bend that knee.
Yeah. Jimmy Bones for $1.99. Thanks for the M3GAN recommendation. Awesome flick. It's just an awesome, fun time at the movies. No lecturing, interesting ideas, kind of science fiction ideas, probably more comedy than horror, and a good time at the movies. And I think it's the launch of a franchise. I really believe that if they're not working on M3GAN 2.0 right now, and we know it's going to be called M3GAN 2.0, that would be crazy. Pilgrim Media says, Chris, are you Siskel or Ebert in this thing? I probably Siskel. I'm probably Siskel because I'm a little more angry. And Alan is more likable than me. I'll just admit it. Alan is more likable.
I'm the Ebert to your Siskel.
Yeah, you're the Ebert. You're the Ebert. Right? I mean,
69.
I mean, it's just, you know, what can you say?
By the way, I don't think it could be M3GAN.
You were saying, sorry, man.
Yeah, I was saying I don't think it could be M3GAN 2.0 because the 3 in M3GAN refers to version 3.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Full Canelli for 10 says, people are tired of seeing their heroes treated with no respect. Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, and don't want it to happen to Indiana Jones again. Here's what I think. Here's on Indiana Jones. If Indiana Jones as a character is treated as disrespectfully as Han Solo was treated in The Force Awakens with one of the worst movie deaths of all time. I did a video about this on another channel on Film Courage where I talked about legacy characters and the correct way to kind of, there's nothing wrong with having a character just ride off into the sunset, or the Millennium Falcon just go into hyperspace, amidst a constellation of stars. That would be great. But if you're going to have a movie death, I compared the death of Han Solo in The Force Awakens to the death of Spock in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. And the way that Spock's death was handled was a couple ways. One, it was in an act of self-sacrifice. That is what heroes do. Heroes are selfless. Heroes care more about others than they do about themselves. That's what a hero is. That's what a superhero should be. Which is why these modern Marvel movies, the more recent Marvel movies, are terrible, because the characters are selfish, not selfless. She-Hulk. So yeah, I think that really, it really is about a lack of trust with Lucasfilm. And look, when Spock died in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, he did it in an act of self-sacrifice, and he was surrounded by people who loved him. McCoy, Scotty, Kirk. He had final words with Kirk. Han Solo didn't even get to have a death speech. He was just speared with a lightsaber by his son and falls. It's the dumbest and laziest death in movies. Falling from a high place. It's what happened to the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. It happened to Scar in The Lion King. The leading cause of death of most movie villains is falling from a high place. Happened to the Joker in the 1989 Batman. Make a list right now. Chat. Movies where the lead character dies falling from a high place. Die Hard.
Yeah. Gaston.
How many? Huh?
Gaston. Beauty and the Beast. Gaston from
Beauty and the Beast. Gaston. How many? Alan, that's an article on Film Threat right now. I'm commissioning an article.
Okay.
The top 10 deaths of villains falling from a high place. And then we should do some real research and statistics. How many people die falling from high places? There's real statistics on that.
Yep.
You can look that up. The CDC actually posts the cause of death. You know what the leading cause of death among young children is?
What?
Accidents of all types. It's not any particular disease. The leading cause of death among young children is an accident, which is sad to say. But I hate the way that Han Solo's death was handled in Force Awakens. A lot of my friends love that movie, and I was just first I was excited I was seeing a new Star Wars movie, but I was like, well, I didn't really like this. I don't like the way, how do you come back from that? How do you have your son kill you and then you're redeemed? How? By deciding to be good? Ridiculous.
Well, what was clear is that death was, to me, I kept thinking, okay, Han Solo finally got, or Harrison Ford finally got out of the franchise.
Look at this. And thank you for that, Fulcanelli. Yeah, Fulcanelli, whatever.
Oh, Palpatine. Palpatine was another one.
Palpatine, I said that one, the Emperor.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, look, Shredder in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1989, falling from a high place. Darth Maul, kinda.
Yeah, he fell twice, technically.
Well, he fell, but he came back in Clone Wars, and then no one ever mentions it, right? I never saw it.
He landed twice.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Party Pucks for 5 says, I saw the doc For the Love of Movies, the story of American film criticism from 2009 on Turner Classic Movies lately. Thoughts? Also, why weren't you guys in it?
You were still at G4 at the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a lot of documentaries, actually. If you look me up on IMDb, I'm in 20 docs. Excuse me. A lot of different docs. You know what? I realized I should never rush and eat something right before the stream. I think I'm now regretting it. I haven't seen that doc, but it's interesting. And thank you for that 5. The dude from RoboCop says Holy Wars. And J.J. Abrams is the Antichrist. I don't know if he's the Antichrist.
Yeah.
I think he's a terrible filmmaker. And what is this? What is it with this Disney's fetish of killing off characters' parents?
Yeah.
Says CD969.
I talked about that a lot. The worst role you want in a Disney movie is parent to a princess.
And Mike Lusk says, if you make a good movie, it doesn't matter if it's woke or conservative. The problem is too many movies are bad. I would agree with that. I mean, there are plenty of movies that could be considered very liberal or whatever. Dances with Wolves. I love that movie. Also because it has a great score by John Barry.
There's a reason why I don't watch faith-based movies. They're not.
A lot of them are just cheesy.
They are. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And Dude B says Alan's conspiracy theories are costing him friends already. Is that true,
I think
Alan?
that happened long ago. Yeah.
Well, you did mention it that you lost friends. Do you want to talk about that at all, or?
I think it's always been that way. I've always been fairly conservative, but I've definitely, when I've gone against the conservative thought of that time, when I went against the evangelicals on a certain issue, that's when I started losing real friends.
All right, then.
Yeah. It's a much longer discussion.
Okay. Brock Anthony says, I wonder if Chris has heard the story of when James Cameron's crew got drugged with chowder spiked with PCP while making the first Avatar movie. I don't know that story.
Yeah, I don't know that one either.
That's bizarre. JTP RX says, this is the only channel I pay for because of the open conversation. Well, I appreciate that. We like to make the chat like part of the discussion. So we talk about a movie and we see what you think. We talk about a movie and we see what you think. And that's pretty much the format of this show. Although we do get into rants and we like to do like our holiday special. We like to do things that are a lot of fun. Solomon Thornton says, Jamie Foxx has a movie called All-Star with Robert Downey Jr. as a Mexican. It sucks. It will never be released due to people not taking a joke. Wow. I have not heard of this. When was this made? Alan, can you look it up?
Okay. All-Star?
All-Star. Alan, look it up. Alan, look it up. Alan, 10 seconds.
Cut the blue wire, then cut the red wire, but only if the third wire is yellow.
Alan, I know you can do it, Alan. Do it.
Pull the flange.
Hold on, Alan. Hold on.
69.
Alan, 1 second. Perfect.
Sparkle.
What? Oh my God.
We'll abuse you. It's amazing. It's called All-Star Weekend.
And when was it made?
I'm trying to find that. It's not showing me it. I think part of the problem is that because it hasn't come out, there's no date. It says it's in post-production on IMDb, which could easily mean it's stalled. But it stars... Sorry. Yeah, so it's two buddies form a rivalry over their favorite American basketball player. Stars Robert Downey Jr., Gerard Butler, Benicio del Toro. It's got a lot of people in it. Yeah, so it's not saying much here on IMDb.
Gotcha. All right, let's a few more comments here. The chat is on fire today. I really want to give it up for the chat. The chat is on fire with good conversation. Big Jack Gameplays. I think Kathleen Kennedy's worse than JJ. She literally said her decision was to let the directors of the Disney trilogy do whatever they want. That was a mistake. They should have laid out a story that involved, you have Mark Hamill Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Billy D. Williams all alive and in good health. And they couldn't tell a story with the three of them. The last thing, I feel bad for parents now of young kids who love Star Wars. I mean, I see it having been to most of the Star Wars celebrations, including the most recent one in Anaheim, California. You see a lot of families with kids. You want to pass on your love of Star Wars. It's something that can be shared as a family. You can share your love of it. So you finish watching Return of the Jedi and your kids say, let's watch the next one. I would not let my kids or grandkids, for that matter, I don't have any grandkids. I'm just saying, I would not let my kids watch The Force Awakens. I would just say, that's where the story ends. That's it. Leave it to your imagination.
Yeah. Just like the 3 Indiana Jones movies.
Just like the 3 Indiana Jones movies. I do believe that this is the reason that there's a huge mistrust of Lucasfilm as a company and their ability to handle really important intellectual property. And to handle the property, how about be respectful to characters that we love? And when you disrespect, I think that movie will do a big first weekend and bomb. I think it's going to bomb. I really do, because this is just, my theory. It's just not on anyone's lists of like, I got to see this movie. And I think you're right. When you look at like legacy characters like Boba Fett and Obi-Wan treated so poorly, it has a cumulative effect. CD Stein 69 says, I think there's a huge, okay. Yeah, we already got that one. Sorry about that. Viper Chief 117. The only way I trust Lucasfilm is if they hired Jon Favreau to helm the ship at said company. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Well, Ahsoka, I believe, will say a lot. Because I believe that him and Dave Filoni are the heads on that series. So we'll see how much leash they give him.
It's fine. I just don't care that much about Ahsoka. It's a made-up character from the Clone Wars that was apparently hidden during the entire, yeah,
but it's a Lucas character. That's one thing.
I don't know. I just don't care. I really just don't care. This is a good question to explore here. All Twisted Up asks, do you get any real heat from people who oppose your views on Film Threat? I have on social media got people to come after me on my personal, but if you look at the Twitter feed of Film Threat, it's very generic by design. Mm-hmm. The Twitter feed on Film Threat is super generic. It's just, here's a review of this movie, go to the website, which is why I think we get almost no traction on the Film Threat Twitter.
Which honestly is probably a good thing.
It's probably a good thing that we don't get a lot of traction there. Here, I'll just look for a second. Okay, so here's the Film Threat Twitter. And it's just, if you look at it, it's just a feed of, it's about movies that we cover. Yeah. Nothing controversial about it. It's just, and that's by design, because I don't think there's any upside to engaging and being controversial on social media. I think it can hurt. I think it can hurt you. So.
Yeah. Again, Film Threat is here to promote independent films. And
well, at least make you aware of them, not necessarily promote them, but at least make you aware. Hey, choose an indie movie. Or at least read about it, and you find one you like, you might want to seek it out, because the life of just sticking with what Hollywood is putting out now is, I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it. Wait, I should have zoomed in.
Yeah, I know.
I should have zoomed in. Sorry about that. Now that I know how to zoom in, I'll zoom in. How about that? Is that better?
Yeah. I mean, if you want the meat, go to our personal Twitter accounts.
But I don't even tweet all that often, by design.
We know why.
Huh?
Yeah, we know why. Hold
Well,
on.
there's a couple things. One, do people oppose our views? I would say, yeah, look, imperfect, make Marvel male again. Yeah, that was my tweet that kind of blew up. And I have people I know in real life that were like coming after me, but we have had like, look, there are people within Film Threat that think differently.
Mhm.
Good. To that, I say good. There
Yeah.
are writers that we know lean one way politically or the other. You know, I still consider myself, conservative on some issues, and on other issues, lean more liberal. But that just means that I'm, unfortunately, that people read into that something. If I have any view that is not with the, current thing, I support the current thing.
Yeah.
Then
You're all right.
yeah, exactly, which is stupid. That is
Yeah.
a stupid way of thinking. Holy Wars says, I've lost all interest in Star Wars. If you would have told my younger self that there would be an Obi-Wan Kenobi show and I had no interest in watching it, I would have thought you were insane.
Yeah.
But back to All Twisted Up's question, we've had some writers at Film Threat just kind of talk to Alan and I. I don't want to say anything specific, but a lot of sometimes we do these like Film Threat shorts on our channel, and I think that can, the shorts is just like a 30-second or 60-second clip out of a context of a larger discussion.
Mm.
So
yeah. I mean, there was one where I basically said, I don't stand by what I said in the short. But I
right,
stand by what I said in the context of the conversation that came from.
exactly,
And,
exactly.
But the thing is the heat. If you know us, if you have spent any extended time with us, we rarely get heat from those people because we know each other. We know we've had discussions, and we don't, and these discussions are based on certain values and not based on the way the wind is blowing, the political wind is blowing at the time.
Well, I like to have a nuanced discussion rooted in at least, here's where I stand on this. And also, I really do like to hear other people's opinions. I can have my mind changed about something. I've had my mind changed about movies. When I saw Babylon initially, I was like, I still think that ending is just bizarre and doesn't work 100% for me. But I grew to enjoy that movie more. And with the caveat that I am a fanboy for movies about movies. I love movies about movies. I like documentaries about movies and the industry. So I have a very different sort of nuanced look at all of those things. So
and you're still wrong about Babylon. So
that's hey, Alan, I respect your opinion.
My number 3 worst movie of the year. Yeah.
No, it's I really was sort of iffy on it at the beginning. Like, boy, there are a lot of parts I liked, and boy, there's stuff that's just crazy.
Yeah.
And one of the things I did, upon thinking about it, a lot of people have said that, that part of being successful in Hollywood is the amount of shit you're willing to put up with, which is why that opening scene with the elephant shitting on someone is like, that's the industry. How much are you willing to be shit on? How much shit are you willing to put up with to succeed in Hollywood? And it turns out it's a lot of shit.
Yep.
And, but yeah, I don't really care. I think that, if you know me, this is what was concerning to me when I said that make Marvel male again. People I've known for like more than a decade coming after me. Like, I can't believe that. And it's like, have you been following my social media? I'm pretty sarcastic most of the time. Almost all of my tweets are filled with some level of sarcasm, or there's another layer to what I'm saying. And if you're not reading the layer beneath, you're not reading it.
Yeah,
and
just the fact that you would get so worked up over 4 words.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, All Twisted Up, and sparking a conversation. Patrick Lemire, I still love Star Wars. I just don't count Disney. When they make something good, it's like an accident. Yeah, I agree. MK Solid 82 for $4.99. Chris, was the people versus George Lucas the real reason for him selling to Disney? I heard that he saw that documentary and was really pissed off. I don't know. I'm in that documentary. I'm in the documentary, and God, I love that doc. It's so good. But yeah, I look at that now, and also I look back on the prequels. The prequels were much better than we gave them credit for. I think the prequels have aged well. The sequels will not age well. That is that. And with that, Alan, I think we're going to wrap it up.
All right.
Over 500 people watching. Please leave a like. If you're going to switch to another channel, leave a like there. We appreciate that. Next week, Alan and I will be back, of course, on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time for, what are we doing next week? We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about Candyland. We're going to talk about, we've got an interview with a filmmaker, One for All, the DJ Chris Villa story. I think that's next week. It might be the following week. I'm getting lists of filmmakers that we're doing interviews with. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That's a book written by Mark Manson that now has been turned into a documentary. A lot of movies to talk about. We may talk about Emancipation.
Okay.
With Will Smith. I think we need to talk about that movie.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it's that movie's going to fail miserably. I don't even know if it'll get awards love. We'll see.
It hasn't, but yeah.
So thank you to everyone in the chat. We appreciate you. Back Wednesday and Friday next week. Alan, what else do you have to say?
Just head to the filmthreat.com website for latest indie reviews. We do have the Critics' Choice Awards next week. And I'll be in San Diego the last 2 Saturdays of the month.
For doing your
National
Comedy Theater.
NationalComedy.com.
National Comedy Theater.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody. See you next Wednesday.
Yeah, let's get it.